And we are back and slightly out of line. Apologies for the slight delay. I realise I've not been updating episode numbers since like episode 7. We are in fact now on episode 10. I can't count. So, it is a crisp, cold evening in London. The puddles are all frozen over and snow is falling from the sky. People have mostly stayed at home, or those who are on the streets are sort of hurrying by, bundled up against the cold wind. Inside Sir John's house, the curtains are drawn against the night's chill, and our 3 investigators are making preparations for the arrival of Letitia Blake. Sir John is currently up in his office, and Maddie is checking the shelves and cabinets for anything occult or cultish in nature to be tucked away for the night and hidden out of sight. And as she's doing so, Maxwell and Irene have arrived. And I think we come face to face with him with kind of a slightly awkward Maxwell and Irene and a busy Maddie in the library.
Yes, well, good evening, I suppose, Miss Watts.
Good evening, Mr. Porter. I do hope that you might have recovered some from that terrible business that happened the last time we saw.
Yes, well, some things are mending, and yet other things I find still ever present in my mind.
That's fair. There are things from that night that are still lingering.
Yes, well, bad air's about, excused. I suppose there are worse companies to spend my time with.
That makes sense. Well, better to keep the bad ones out, I guess.
Yes, I suppose that is one way of looking at it. I have in my past dealt with this type of situation before. You'd be amazed what the tomb robbers of Egypt will do to make themselves accommodating until it is that they decide to make moves on their plans.
I am simply here to help, Mr. Porter.
As are they all. Oh, we're here to help shift the stones. We're here to help ease the legal paperwork. Various things. It inevitably ends the same way, I find, however. But then I suppose that is a subject for a different night. Let's keep things civil, at least, for the sake of Miss Carter, if no one else.
Of course. And I'm going to turn and find Miss Carter and try and help with whatever she's doing.
I am in the library, pulling books down from the shelves, checking their contents to see if they can stay on the shelves for the day or not.
Okay, so most of the books in Sir John's library are fairly innocuous, if you remember from last time. It's most of his books on display are general history and mythology and various other non-cult topics.
I am checking the...
You have removed the most dangerous book previously.
But because there was some oddities inside the locked glass cases that were previously stolen, I am double checking again.
I am going
for anything that might possibly be rage-inducing to our later guest.
Oh, definitely. Please give me a spot hidden. The The silver bottle that previously caused trouble has been removed and is now tucked away safely in Sir John's safe. Other than that, you can see there's various bits and pieces of stone carvings, like little paintings, nothing that suggests it's anything other than just general historical interest stuff. You noticed a couple more items that were here when you first visited that have been removed at the same time the silver bottle was removed from the case, suggesting perhaps that Sir John may have upped his
Tuck those ones
security
away.
since the last incident. But yeah,
That's
nothing leaps out to you as particularly dangerous.
wonderful. In that case, I am going to turn and go to leave the room, I guess, when Lady Irene walks in.
Oh, Maddie, I'm glad I found you. Everything all right?
Yes, I am just preparing for the possibility of Mrs. Blake coming in here and wanting to do various things that should not be done.
Lady Irene's going to also look at the fireplace and make sure there aren't any books being burned, because Maddie has had a notorious habit of book burning.
Appears to be all that's currently burning is coal and wood.
And I just kind of nod as I look. Oh, very well, very well. I'm glad you have taken up to checking the bookshelves instead of, well, trying to destroy them.
Well, considering she has been known to participate in the demise of some owners of things she deems unworthy, I do not want her to take it upon herself to plan out the passing of everyone in this household. Some people just do not deserve it.
It's true. I definitely don't think you deserve it. We're here trying to solve problems, not cause more problems.
Did Mr. Porter come? Has he arrived yet?
Yes, he has. And she does move out of the way.
Yes, indeed I have arrived, although it is a terrible shame there is something pervasive in the air, but it should be of no mind.
Well, I am grateful for your support tonight. And yours as well, Lady Irene. We must all have our wits about us tonight because she's bonkers. She is quite bonkers, and we need to stop what she is doing because that is lives on the line.
She is barking. Absolutely barking.
Yes, I wouldn't... Oh, sorry, please.
Oh, I was just going to remind you all of that burnt toffee smell.
Yeah.
She has
That
tried
was-
to...
Yes, speaking of, it turns out that powder that we had the misfortune of coming across, that was laced with the burnt toffee flavor.
Mm.
Could it be possible that Letitia gave that man the powder?
Possible.
I would
Probable.
not be surprised. These These practitioners seem to run in similar circles, to say the least.
Depends
Others
on where
might
he
use the word
received
coven.
it. Exactly. It depends on where he procured it. I disposed of the remaining powder, so we will not have that reoccurring here in our city.
Good.
That's for the best. But I must ask, and I do not mean to pry overly much, but what other preparations have you made for the eventuality that this woman becomes unhinged? Surely we cannot depend on the footman to take care of this single-handedly.
Well, the trusted footman and other household members are aware of what possibly might happen. For some of that, I have left it in Sir John's hands.
A shame.
For us, what was that?
Oh, I was just hoping that perhaps some sort of private security or else the constable might be present, just in case. Again, I do feel that this woman, quite frankly, might belong in a house of a different kind, if you know what I mean.
The one her father was in. Possibly.
Yes, possibly.
Well, I'm not sure if it would keep her well.
Well, then there are altogether other ways to handle witches.
But tonight, our specific purpose is to keep the peace between Sir John and Mrs. Blake, so that there is no fighting and no damages to happen within the house.
Yes, and so that other pacts may be made, no doubt.
No, not other pacts. I do not want the innocent household members here to come to harm with what may happen.
Yes, well, unfortunately, I suppose in my mind I am not so easily disabused of the idea that she may have other plans in mind entirely. And whether or not we agree to the terms of whatever pact she may have in mind, it may matter very little to a woman like her. But then, I suppose, we have nothing to do but to wait. We've made preparations, or at least you have, my dear, and may I say, you seem to be positively glowing this evening. So,
Thank you. I will let Sir John know that you have arrived, and I will check in the kitchens to make sure the meal preparation is going well.
Well,
And I will take my leave.
as you go to leave, you hear this familiar tap, tap, tap of Sir John's cane in the corridor outside. Ah, yeah, I thought I heard the door go. I presume... good, Mr. Porter? Lady Von Watts, pleasure to have you back. I take it the detective is still down in Portsmouth.
Indeed.
Terrible shame. I'd feel far safer with her around. But, well, one can't have everything. Everything should be arranged for dinner. I have sent most of the servants home, just to be on the safe side, just keeping trustworthy James around and Polly down in the kitchens.
well,
Does that sound about right, Maddie?
Yes.
You're better at the household stuff than I am.
It should be fine.
Yes.
Do we have... Should she become violent, do we have anything planned.
Well, I mean, there are 4 of us and 1 of her, but, well... Do you mean in the manner of weaponry?
Well, weaponry or anything else, you do realize I am trying to keep this a peaceful evening, so I don't want you going about and riling her up.
You rile someone up? When have I ever riled someone up, dear girl? Well... I will try not to, rile her up, as you say. But, if you...
Although... I apologize, Sir John. To touch on the subject of preparation, I do feel that I would be much more comfortable were weaponry of some kind available.
Well, let's see, what have I got? There's, I've got an old revolver in my office desk drawer. I can go fetch that if you'd like.
Yes, I think that would be quite practical. Of course,
other than that, there is my father's old cavalry saber.
Oh, I suppose oh, no. That would be a bit much, I think.
Well, it's on the wall. Upstairs, if you feel you need it.
Yes, I suppose.
Served him very well in the Peninsular Wars. Oh, so I hear.
Oh, yes, I should imagine so. Very, very practical of a weapon. I don't suppose you might be opposed to having it brought down and then put on display in the room in which we will be dining this evening. That way, if needs be, it would be at hand and yet also not...
Yes, James! You pop the cavalry saber back in the dining room. I had it downstairs previously, but I had to rearrange a few things after the incident in the library a few months back.
But of course, this is merely in the idea of preparation, as Maddie was so kind to point out. This will be an attempt to bridge the gaps and make amends, but still, I feel the practicality of the matter must not be ignored.
Precautionary. I completely understand.
Yes. Always good to be prepared. Good saying. Someone should use that for something. Now, yes, what else? So, yes, weaponry. My advice, from what you've told me of Mrs. Blake, is don't let her do any mysterious chanting. Seems like
Yes,
she knows a few tricks of her own.
she does. And while we will have the fireplaces going, as soon as we notice any strange scents coming from the fireplaces or candles or any such lamps, we are to open the windows immediately.
Very good. Very well prepared. Right. Well, I will just go and get my revolver for... Well, with Maxwell, would you like to take care of that? You've probably got a steadier hand than me, or perhaps one of the young ladies? I don't know.
It would be quite comforting, I feel, to have such a thing in my possession, although I would not deprive the ladies of it. Although I would caution you, Sir John, why arm a witch who is already, in fact, armed?
I wasn't proposing to give it to Letitia.
And I do not mean her either, but...
I hope you're not calling my Maddie a witch.
Oh, no, hardly. Your Maddie is a fine and upstanding young woman, and one who surely has much ahead of her. No, I mean others, who I will, out of respect, not name.
Well,
He means me, Sir John.
I hardly thought he meant Polly, the kitchen maid, so yes.
Yeah.
I will allow you. I will hand the gun over to you then, Maxwell, if
If
after the
need
teacher's
be,
gone, Lady Irene, we'll have a little chat about her. This witchcraft. I'd like to hear a little more about that.
Of course.
if need be, I can sit nearest to the saber.
Oh yes, I'll
If that is preferred to everyone.
sit you underneath the saber. I'll take my customary seat at one end of the table. I think it would be best if we could stick Letitia at the other end.
Yes, very, very practical decision, I do believe.
Perhaps, Uncle, you should sit near the fireplace. At the end near the fireplace.
Well, yes, I'll sit near it. Fireplace is kind of on the side, but yes, that can be.
Well, near it. You do not
Yes.
have to be in it.
Anyway, seating arrangements aside, we should probably be just about ready.
Mhm.
And he, with a tap of his cane, he heads off to retrieve his revolver. Returns and places it in Maxwell's hand. Let me just...
Oof, it's quite a bit heftier than I should have expected.
Well, it's I've not used it in a few years, but I keep it oiled, and it should be functional.
Yes, I imagine it's not much different than what we had on the expedition for taking care of the snakes.
Well, good, trustworthy thing. It's got whole 5 cylinders. I'll have you know, whole 5.
Ah, good,
Ah.
good. 4 for a warning and 1 for the final deed.
Yes. Right. Well,
You plan on 4 warnings.
Simply a bit of humor, my dear. I find that the idea of such brutality is a bit appalling in some ways.
and with that, you hear the sound of the doorbell. Little ding-ding. As the doorbell rings and followed by a knock. Well, it seems our guest is here. James, take her coat and show her through to the dining room. We'll wait in there. Come along, come along. Sit there, you sit there, I'll sit here. Good. Cavalry sword on the wall. You should be able to reach that, Maddie.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Alright, well. And there's a long pause. You can hear muffled sounds of voices outside in the corridor as James takes Letitia's coat. Or cloak, I suppose. I'm not sure where we stand on the cloaks versus coats line in the 1880s. And then the dining room door is opened, and in walks the Widow Blake. She's wearing her long black dress and her full mourning garb. She's even got a bit of a veil over her face today. She's being extra respectful for her poor deceased Mr. Blake. As she pauses slightly at the door, and you see she turns her head towards Sir John, and then right back at the rest of you. And lifts the veil. So, you're all here. Well, almost all.
Yes.
And this isn't some form of trap.
No, no trap. Please, have a seat and we will have dinner momentarily.
Thank you. She takes a seat.
And I will take my seat along with her at the same time.
Letitia, you've, look well? And you look very old.
Thank you.
James, if you'd fetch the wine and, also get Polly on the soup.
Thank you, Mrs. Blake, for joining us for dinner this evening.
Well, it would hardly do to ignore an invite from a knight of the realm. Or his, delightful friends.
Ah, yes. Well, how kindly of you to come and join us. I do hope that your doings have been well these past weeks.
Not exactly. One of my main suppliers went out of business a few days ago.
Oh, a terrible business. Hopefully you will find a replacement in due time.
Hopefully. I'd ordered a large amount of reprints of Chaucer, but their entire printing press went up in flames.
Oh,
Apparently, some form of insurance scam. Old man burnt the place down.
yes, one does hear about these things from time to time. Good enough for some, I suppose. But,
Yeah, that
is
does
very
happen.
unfortunate.
Yes. How about you? Are you all well? I trust you've had no further ill dealings with our mutual friends, the Belfonts.
No, we have managed to stay away from most things unwelcome.
yes. And how fortunate for the pair of us.
Trying our best, of course, to stay out of the strangeness that is London now. But there are odd events going on here and there.
Well, yes, of course there are.
You said that you were one of your suppliers has gone out of business. What was it you were trying to get reproductions of?
Well, I had some Chaucer, some Milton. I've been trying to expand outside of the occult into some more literary classics.
Ah, yes, I imagine that should be for the better. And besides, I would think that would be far more comforting for someone such as yourself in these most trying of times.
Yes.
And also she has murdered half the occultists that she's met, so perhaps her bookshop's getting a little less popular.
Uncle.
What if that is the truth?
Well,
Your
sometimes.
manners.
Well, Look, I agree to this inappropriately, but I'm not here going to sit exchanging pleasantries with a lady who admits that she attempted to kill you. And has, if you're telling the truth, expressed a desire to kill me.
Yes, well, all the same, perhaps we should not put the crosshairs so firmly in one direction. I am sure that, in spite of her, we'll say, less than friendly intentions in the past, that I do believe, madam, that you have certainly tried to set yourself on a different path, and the fact that you sit here with this evening is evidence to that very practice. Otherwise,
Yes,
sorry, Maddie?
well, I was going to say that this is a sincere attempt to mend the falling out that happened.
Falling out?
Is the politest way that I can say it.
He sent my father insane. Well, I would hardly put that fault entirely on me.
Yes, well, unfortunately, the passages of the mind are an ever-winding and twisting thing, and so responsibility for one's mental state, I feel, cannot fall squarely on any one individual, nor, in fact, on anyone in their surroundings. A combination of the two, really. And so, therefore, perhaps the blame can fall on no one's shoulders.
No one's shoulders. How?
As
the suit
I shall
and my...
say, as I shall say, perhaps the blame is on everyone's shoulders.
Sorry, shall I come back in a moment? The soup? The soup?
Oh, yes, please, the
yes.
soup.
I'm sorry, yes, please.
Sorry, here you go, mulligatawny soup. And, drinks for everyone. Just ring if you need anything else, and the fish course is being prepared. We've got stewed eels.
Oh. Okay.
Nice and warming for the evening.
Polly's finest. Back soon.
Thank you. As I was saying, everyone has some part of blame in every situation.
Yes, I suppose this is one way of viewing things. Although, in my mind, absolution for all is a key thing. And so then, to saddle anyone, or in this case everyone, with the fault, seems so unnecessary. But of course, I suppose we will always seek to place the blame firmly on someone when things go awry.
And that is usually the case. In my case, it was entirely my fault for reading the books that I read. My curiosity and my want to seek knowledge put me in the precarious situation I was in, for which I apologize to everyone who was present when I fell a little too far into what I read.
Yes, I do suppose. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say I agree exactly. Well, and in fact, I think, if I recall correctly, the book you read was one that Martin Cresswell wrote. Or at least translated.
Yes, it is.
So if we are putting the fault of everything that became of Martin on me, then in some ways anything that became of Maddie we misplaced on Martin's shoulders, surely. He played as much a part in all of this as I did.
Ah, yes, well, the bookkeeping of blame is perhaps something best left to personal accounts and not done in the presence of company.
Well... going cold.
Oh,
No.
no, quite
Yes.
right. We shouldn't let her
Yep.
get
Yes.
cold. She's put in
Yes.
such an effort for us.
Yes, of course.
So is this what I came all this way for? Just to hear you make tired excuses of how none of this was ever your fault, John. And how it all is just chance. When you actively sought out people to teach, not just my father, but Belfont after him. You taught people these arts of yours. You introduced people to the truth, as you put it. And now you've done the very same to your own relatives. Your own granddaughter? I'm a little confused with the relationships here, but...
Well, pardon me for interrupting. And Maddie will turn to face her uncle directly. What was the reason behind introducing me to all of this, if you can even call it introducing?
I can hardly say that I introduced you to it as such. It was rather...
No,
Well-
what happened, and I will turn to Mrs. Blake. What had happened was an artifact that was under lock and key had managed to be stolen. And the imbecile who stole it released what was inside. And because of that release, attempted to finish off Lady Irene, Detective Shaw, and myself. We managed to put it away. And we have since then taken to putting away or finishing off any instances where danger can happen to the ignorant populace.
Though you're telling me that by chance some thief decided to steal of all the items in Sir John's house, something that dangerous that was kept out there where a thief could take it, purely by chance.
Uncle, you will have to respond to this one. I am sorry.
It wasn't out in the open. It was in a locked glass case. And I believe it was Belfont behind it, as it so very often is. That man has been nothing but trouble.
Wasn't it also a gift from the Belfonts back when you were still liaisoning with them?
Yes, maybe he wanted it back for some reason or other.
But as I recall, that wasn't the only thing that was stolen. Some jewelry as well.
A ring, indeed.
Maybe I'm just of a more suspicious mind.
Would it be possible, Keeper, for me to do a psychology roll
Oh, yes it would.
on both John Wall and
Give me a
Mr.
collective, psychology roll here to get a read on Sir John and Letitia. Okay. So as this exchange is going on, you're sort of kind of watching between them, and you can tell that Letitia she's trying to rile Sir John up, like she is poking and prodding and trying to cause trouble here. But you can also tell that Sir John is not being entirely truthful here. The way he's skirting around things, the way he's saying stuff, this is not the full story from him. He's being sus.
Lady Irene's been very quiet and just watching this go on. And yeah, she shoots Maddie a bit of a look at what Sir John's saying. There's just this distinctive look of something's not right.
Would it be possible for me to take a look at our guest and just to be sure that nothing is hidden about the person? I obviously can't feel or anything like that, but
Oh, give me a
looking-
spot hidden, please. Yes.
well,
Nothing that you can see. She's very draped up in this, like, voluminous black dress she's wearing. Presume it's got pockets somewhere in it, but you can't really see anything she's carrying on her person.
yes.
There does seem to have been some foul business in the past between Sir John, the Belfonts, and the Belfonts are still causing problems to this day, as we've seen previously. The hope here is so that we might bury the hatchets and potentially be able to focus on the ongoing problem, which is Mr. Belfont.
Well, I am sorry, Lady Irene. Uncle, you did not give an answer, though.
What? Sorry, old. I'm getting old. What didn't I answer properly?
Why I was, even with how things started, why I was introduced to this madness.
Well, it is best when there is danger in the world for you to be well armed and prepared against it, my dear. And I've felt that once you had stumbled across this element of the truth, to keep more from you would be a disservice to to your intelligence and to your capabilities. I believe you are,
All right. Well,
well,
and since then, what are your intentions now?
oh, my intentions, I merely to ensure that legacy is left in good hands and that I what the
Legacy, I see. So you are hoping to bequeath all these secrets and learning to Maddie to further protect
well, I have
yourself.
sought in the past to find someone to carry on what I began, the element of discovery. I thought that maybe he nods over towards Letitia. I thought maybe that Martin was the person to do that, and sadly I was mistaken. Then I thought that William might be as well, and sadly I was even more mistaken in that regard. I fear that by introducing William Belfont to certain secrets, I may have caused a good deal of harm. That I do recognize. Although I did not expect the man to delve quite so deeply into, fish. That is quite unexpected. But now I think I have found my solution.
And your solution is for me to help the people who do not know of these things and to protect them. Yes, Uncle, and I am going to definitely try to see if his answer to this is 100% truthful.
Give me
so
a psychology roll, please. Yes. Yes, of course. Only by understanding and knowing can we guard ourselves and the less knowledgeable against the dangers that lie in this world.
I failed
So
that roll.
yes.
I'm also going to double check this bullshit roll because
yeah,
I'm listening intently.
You're listening intently. As the saying goes, what's it? Sciente potentes est. Yes. Now, and again, Irene, getting the sense that perhaps he's not telling the full truth. Yeah.
There's definitely a look. There's a look at Maddie, and there's just a subtle little head shake.
I don't think Maddie is paying attention at the subtlety things at this moment. She is trying to fix the issue and trying to get her uncle to admit that he was wrong in part and that he is working to correct this.
Anyhow, this is a discussion I think should perhaps be held in more private company, somewhat. We do have a guest present.
Yes, Uncle, but we are trying to fix what was wrong.
What was wrong was that, Martin did not have the mindset nor the strength of will suitable to know these kind of things. It's not my fault that the man read a few books and completely lost his goddamn mind.
Perhaps not entirely. However, as a callback to what was said previously, were you not a teacher of sorts? Did you not begin to guide this man down this path? You introduced him, in fact, to this world in which he found his steps so misplaced. So then, while yes, the teacher is not entirely responsible for the actions of the student, I do think it is the responsibility of the teacher to some degree to watch over their students, particularly those like the Belfonts, which so quickly became out of hand.
You do speak some truth, and I admit, were I to go back all those years and make choices again, I cannot say I would make the same choices. I think I would do things differently were I to have another chance. But sadly, the past is the past, and we cannot change it.
No, we cannot. But also, we need not deny the presence that it still has in our present, or in fact, its ramifications on our future, which is what I think this particular meeting is meant to establish.
Yes.
You see, to my understanding, and you'll correct me, Miss Letitia, if I speak for you and do not place the words quite right, but it is your belief that these things, which, yes, the ignorant must be protected from,
The
is
knowledgeable.
also... Oh, please.
No, please continue. I thought you
Yes,
were
it is the knowledgeable in it that truly do the most vile of works in this world. And so therefore, it is of your mind that these people must be kept to a minimum, to put it lightly. And so therefore, Sir John, I suppose mainly the concern would be that your instruction, which has waylaid others in the past, may in fact continue to do so into the future. And so, a simple example, dear Maddie, who was so traumatically afflicted at times, and I too felt the end of this in some sense. So, I suppose, again, the responsibility is not to take claim of the actions of the students, but to provide a firm and disciplining hand at times when necessary. Something that it seems perhaps was not done. But of course, this is how I speak of ignorance. I do not know, truly.
And so we come to the fact that Mrs. Blake needs at least an apology. And we must find a way to potentially correct some of the wrong that was done to her and her family.
Very well said, Mr. Porter. Yes, Lady Irene.
Is it possible that Lady Irene might be able to sneak out while all this conversation is going on?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna say give me a stealth roll to see if anyone sort of, see how noted your absence is. You excused yourself.
Yep. Oh, no,
So
I'm not stealthy.
people see you leave, but they're also too busy, or at least on Letitia and Sir John's part, too busy to make any comment on it.
All right.
But your exit is seen. And where would you like to go as you exit?
I'm going to go up to Sir John Wallace's room to see if he may have a journal or something.
Oh, okay. So you're heading upstairs. Yeah. So as you head upstairs, you hear this, like, apart from the sounds of the dining room, the only other sound in the house is the tick tick of the hall clock, and some clattering of pans from down in the kitchen on the floor below. So you head on upstairs. We'll get back to you in just a moment. As Letitia and Sir John are sort of still glaring at each other across this table. And after a brief moment, Sir John kind of, look, if an apology is what's needed, then I am sorry. I am sorry that I introduced Martin to the truth of the world, that I trusted him as far as I did. It was a mistake, and he was a poor choice of student. As for what I can do to correct that, I see no way. I am but an old man now. Is that what you came here for? Is that enough?
Miss Blake. Aside from death, what might possibly can be done in an attempt to mend your broken heart?
Aside from his death, or for him to suffer the way my father suffered at his hands, I see no way in which these scales will ever be balanced. And yet I feel that you will not let me exact my vengeance here, will you? You would try and stop me? Would you not? Although surely you must feel it's justified.
No, I do not. Quite frankly, I find it disturbing that we continue to try to inflict upon others the pains that we have experienced in our own lives. Truly, there has been a great deal of trauma in my own, and truly there are things that I once sought vengeance for with a great and terrible anger that I wished to inflict upon those around me. But as time drew on and I came to understand things, I realized that if I go about inflicting these pains on others, all I do is create a cycle. Now this one wants vengeance for what has been done to this one, and so on in that fashion down the lines until the sins of the father are ultimately upon those who had nothing to do with it. So why then this man who has lived many a year alone, trapped by things strange and more bizarre than I care to imagine, is his suffering in these final days not sufficient? Is knowing that his eternal soul may in fact be in great jeopardy once his mortal coil has given up its last, is that not sufficient for you? Do you truly need to inflict pain upon his family? Yes, surely your family has been affected. Yes, surely you have experienced much trauma at his hands, and I do not mean to lessen that. Not at all.
Oh, how can you be so reasonable? It is...
Because one finds, with time, with age, that there is much that can be done, but much that should
Are you
not
telling me that if you had whoever it was that took your family from you in front of you now, that you wouldn't want them dead? That you wouldn't try to kill them?
I will not deny that in my heart I would feel great stirrings of anger and rage. And yes, in fact, I might, in my deepest of fantasies, wish for terrible things upon them, and yet I am a man, not a beast. I am no monster, no antediluvian horror. It is not my right to inflict vengeance, nor is it my place to inflict trauma against those around me. As a matter of fact, it is my duty, no, even more so than that, my great honor, my right, to protect those around me, and to see that a better way is made for those who would come after me. So why then lay traps for them to step in? Why, in fact, dig potholes for them to fall into? Which is what seems to be happening very much so right now in this parlor. It seems that there are those who had set terrible grievances in the past here at our forefront, so that we may never proceed forward, so that we may never be free of them.
Well spoken, Mr. Porter. Very well spoken, and it seems from your heart as well. Why start a blood feud? Blood feuds only beget more blood. And oftentimes it's at the hands of, it's laid onto the innocents, and the blood is taken from the innocents.
Just stop. Just all of you. Did none of you have this? Why must you all be so accursedly good and kind? This is...
Why must we be so good, you ask?
This is not true. This isn't real. This is some kind of dream. This is some kind of delusion. Maybe I'm not here. Maybe this is just...
Maddie is going to ring the bell for the next course.
Okay, so as you ring the bell for the fish course, we're going to go for a moment to Lady Irene as she has slipped off upstairs to search Sir John's private rooms.
Indeed. I am looking for something that details why he's doing this. Why did he bring his poor niece into all this? In fact, why did he bring us into this?
Okay, so as you're searching around sort of his private office, his rooms, sort of in general, I'm going to say, give me a spot hidden for what you can find, and I apologize sincerely for the fact that there is a fireworks display currently going off outside my house. But yes, what hidden? Okay, so as you're searching round through his rooms, there's various clutter of half-finished notes on historical texts and commentary, mostly quite scathing commentary on the works of other historians. Some letters to friends of his, and tucked away on the you can see there's an entire shelf which consists of journals. Like, we have journals running all the way back, sort of, probably up from the 1820s up till now. Like, one for every year. So there's a good 60 odd years of journals on his office shelf. But also, less obvious and more tucked away, is a rather official looking envelope. It's tucked to one side on the end of this shelf, with a little note on the front: to be opened following the demise of Sir John Wallace.
I'm gonna open it.
Okay, so you open it out, and you can see immediately that this appears to be a will. Last will and testament of Sir John Henry Bartholomew Wallace, and all officially made out, signed by his lawyer as a witness, and properly done, all legally agreed, leaving all his estate, his property, the townhouse, and also the country estate, in trust to Miss Martha Carter, Mr. Maxwell Porter, and then a name that's very familiar to you as you read it over. Not Lady Irene von Watts, though.
Wow.
To continue the work in the understanding of the arcane and esoteric, to the protection of people from threats unknown and threats beyond.
I'm going to try and put it back, and try and put it back in a way to where he couldn't see that it was opened.
Okay. Carefully tuck it back away.
Still don't trust you, Sir Wallace. Still don't. And I'm going to try and make my way back down.
Okay, as you make your way back down, you can hear the bell ringing downstairs in the kitchen. It doesn't seem be a response. And as you're in the main room, you ring the bell. Just carries on ringing. A few moments later, there's no sign of James. And Lady Irene, could you just make me a listen check, please?
Of course. Anything for the keeper.
I hear nothing.
No, you just hear the echoing ringing of the bell downstairs.
I'm going to continue down and try and come back to the dining room, looking a little more refreshed.
You arrive back in the dining room. You can see Letitia looks almost deflated at this point, like deflated and slightly a little unhinged. She's muttering her way to herself about things being delusions and untruths and No, this is not how it's supposed to go. This is not how it was supposed to go. This is all wrong.
How was it meant to go, dear? You see,
I just wanted justice, and you made it seem so dirty, so
what you
crude
sought
a
to
thing as
find here was a
vengeance.
monster. Instead, you found an old man. I understand how jarring that can seem.
Just
Believe me.
after all these years, this is the man that created Belfort. How could he not be like him, not be worse than him? Like,
As he had said, it was a mistake. Sometimes people who you think are trustworthy are not.
Yes.
And I fully believe that my uncle wishes us, at least me, make right the wrongs that he made.
Precisely.
I'm so sorry.
It's quite all right, dear. I cannot
No,
begin to absolve your conscience of these things, and yet...
no, you don't understand.
What?
I told Belfont I was coming here tonight. I sent him a letter. An anonymous letter. I told him that you would all be here. There would be no servants keeping watch, that Sir John would be here, that you would be busy, that you would be distracted. You see, last time I made the mistake of trying to do it myself and couldn't do it, so I thought,
Yes.
well, who can be relied upon to get the work done? But, Belfont.
Well then.
And so the cycle continues of hurting people who don't deserve to be hurt.
I thought this was doing the right thing. I thought finally it's good riddance to the lot of you. Make this a safer place.
Well then. We cannot know when to expect him, I suppose. You did send this anonymously.
Yeah,
However, I ask you, rather
I am
than...
going to ring again for the next course.
the bell rings again.
I'd heard that bell ring before when I was in the washroom, and I didn't hear anyone coming. I didn't hear really anything besides the bell, though. Perhaps we should check the kitchen?
This might not be a terrible idea. However, I think it's important. Our guest. But she, rather than be left to wallow in the self-pity of having once more made a poor decision, that we encourage her in some way to assist us. And then perhaps some of the burden might be lifted from her shoulders. How is it,
Thank you.
dear, that you can help?
Well, if there is, I can make people do things they do not wish to do. Perhaps even Belfont I could use this on. If he
Well,
is
then-
here himself.
Well, then I think perhaps best then that you come with us, unless any of you should feel otherwise, even in spite of your predilections in the past. I am tentatively willing to keep you close, as I keep others close at hand as well.
I don't think my uncle should be left alone should something happen.
Perhaps not.
Don't worry about me. I can got my trusty cane and should Belfont himself come, I have a few tricks up my sleeve should I need them. Besides, my poor leg is not made for the stairs down to the kitchens. I would only slow you down.
If that's fine with you, then if you would like, Mrs. Blake and I can go down to the kitchens. Mr. Porter, if you are okay sitting here with Sir John.
Oh, yes, I do suppose that I might, but, I must urge you to proceed with a great deal of caution.
Okay.
I remain uncertain of these practitioners of particular arts.
But just to be clear, Maddie and Letitia are going down to the kitchen. Max.
Yes, anybody who wishes to follow can follow, but
Maxwell is remaining upstairs with Sir John. Lady Irene, where are you going?
I'll go with Maddie so that she isn't alone.
All right. So as the three witches descend down, leaving the respectable gentleman with moustaches upstairs, I see how this has divided. I think this is an excellent point to go to break, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Please stick around for the second half as we find out just what watery hell Belfont has unleashed this time. And stick around for the end, in which we'll be giving away a $20 gift card to Drive-Thru RPG. And we will see you in 10 minutes' time. Okay, so we return to the delightful dinner party at Sir John Wallace's London address. Our guests this evening being Maxwell Porter, Maddie, Lady Irene, Letitia Blake, and now, seemingly, the Belfonts. So, as we left off, Maxwell and Sir John are remaining upstairs, as Maddie, Irene, and Letitia head downstairs to investigate why the servants have not been responding to the bell.
Point of order, Keeper. Lady Irene is going to grab the sword.
Yes, you take down this Napoleonic-era cavalry saber off the wall. And so, we head downstairs into the basement level of this house. This maze of different sort of servants' quarters, pantries, still rooms, cellars, all knotted up inside. As you come down the steps, it's eerily quiet down here. Any other time you've been down here, Maddie, you've sort of heard the clatter of servants at work, even when it's just James and Polly around, as it is sometimes on nights when Sir John wants the others out the way. But now it's quiet. And there's this odd sort of smell. This slightly briny, slightly rotten smell in the air. Like harbour water, or the bilges of a ship. Hangs in the air.
I am keeping my eye out. Do I see any water on the floor?
You look around. There's a few puddles, perhaps. Maybe. You see further down the corridor towards the kitchen. There's definitely a puddle of water seeping under the door.
I am going directly there.
Okay. Letitia follows, sort of picking up her long skirts as you approach the water. The kitchen door
I'm leading
stands...
the way. I don't care about my skirts or anything of that nature. I'm going straight in.
Okay, so you push forward into the kitchen. The smell is stronger in here. This rotten, watery smell. And
I'm looking for Polly. Is she on the floor anywhere? Passed out or anything?
there, at first you glance around, no sign of Polly, no sign of James, and then you hear a faint rustle of movement from the scullery. It's around the corner, through the kitchen.
I go
drip
there.
of water as you make your way down through the scullery. The shadows seem to shift and twist, and as the scullery comes into view in the sort of the dim flicker of the gaslight, you can see, first of all, this undulating, oozing mass. It seems to be taking up most of the scullery floor. It looks like an oil sheen on it as it moves and twists, and from it you can see just one arm reaching out and slowly being subsumed into it along with the rest. One lone arm. Before we go any further, I have a question for where is Lady Irene at this moment?
Lady Irene was kind of stationed. So the way I picture it is Maddie, Letitia, and Lady Irene.
Yeah, so
Kind of-
Maddie headed down towards the scullery. Letitia's behind her, and Lady Irene further back. But Lady Irene, you cannot yet see what it is that the other two can see. But I will, at this moment, ask for a sanity roll from Maddie, please. And also, more importantly for you, a sanity roll for Letitia, who is not known for her overabundance of sanity.
I failed.
Okay. Could you please roll me 1d10, please, here?
That is a 9.
Okay. Please deduct 9 points from your sanity.
That
As you-
leaves me at 13 sanity.
It does indeed. Please roll me another d10 as you see this, and it's just... This is a lot. This is...
That is
This
a
is-
6.
And Lady Irene, you hear a kind of thud as Maddie collapses down unconscious to the floor. Just,
Oh gosh.
and Maddie, your world goes dark. This is a thud. You hit the cold stones of the scullery floor. Behind Maddie, Letitia freezes in place, like looking pale-faced. No. And Lady Irene, you can't yet quite see what they can see, but they can definitely see something.
What is it? What is it?
I
Maddie!
don't know. I think she's dead. Maybe she's dead. That should... Oh, I'll be dead soon. Whatever this thing is, we'll all be dead. And Letitia's just taking a few further steps, backing away. Lady Irene, I'd like you to give me a listen check as it's going on, please.
Failing the listen checks.
Okay, you don't hear anything. But yeah.
I'm going to approach because I heard Maddie fall.
Yes. As you approach around the corner, you see Letitia, pale-face, backing away, her hands trembling. She doesn't look completely in control of herself. You can see Maddie lying unconscious on the floor as this rippling mass moves towards her. I need a sanity roll from Lady Irene, please. As the last fingers of the hand disappear into the mass and it continues to flow forwards. Please roll me 1d10.
Yeah.
Yep, bring it in
it.
this kind of wet slurping sound. You can see it moves almost like river mud, oozing over itself, slick with oil and the smell of all the rotting things that dwell at the bottom of a river or lake. And I think that's 4 points of sanity there, Lady Irene.
Mm-hmm.
But you are... You freeze for the briefest of moments, but you are still in control.
My first thoughts are trying to get Maddie out of there. I see this thing coming at her, and yeah, it's getting Maddie out and then getting back up.
Okay, so as you kind of hurry forward kind of to grab hold of Maddie and pull her out of there. I just need to roll for one quick thing here. Okay. How? You're fairly quick on your feet, Lady Irene.
Fairly.
So as you, this thing doesn't seem to be moving that fast as you are pulling Maddie back past. Letitia seems to have backed up as far as the kitchen table and paused. She kind of watches Letitia shakes herself out of it and is looking around.
Do you know what that is?
I don't know. I don't know what Belfont's done now. I don't know what you've done now. This whole thing is a mess. This whole place is a mess. And she kind of looks down, and as you look down, you see that she has laid her hands on looks to be a glint of a large kitchen knife.
Take it easy.
Oh, come on. This is just ridiculous now.
Don't.
Reverend Maddie's mad against us. The man is insane. This is insane. This whole thing is insane.
Of course it is. It's with the Belfonts.
And you see as her eyes dart frantically sideways from you to Maddie to the doorway to the scullery. And we're just going to break away there for a moment. Just have a quick check-in on what's going on upstairs. As Maxwell, the ladies departed downstairs, leaving you and Sir John in the dining room.
Well, Sir John, as I was saying, I do believe that there may be something much grander afoot. You have invited into your home this evening 2 different witches, which we know to be practitioners of some degree of magic, whether it be quite on the darker end in the case of our more recent guest, and in the more, I don't even know how to call it. But for Lady Irene, I'm sure you understand she has her own practices. And now we are informed that a 3rd is to be coming. Do you not see that there is clearly a coven meaning to convene in your home this very evening?
A coven? Well,
I don't know what else you would call it. A grouping of 3 witches?
I suppose, yes. I hadn't ever given that much thought of what to call a collective of witches. I guess a coven is the word. What, pray, is your definition of witch here?
I thought it fairly obvious. These practitioners, particularly of a female orientation, who perform various magics. At least that's my understanding. You must forgive me, as I am fairly new to this. Only recently have I been exposed to the reality of it. I had assumed for quite some time that it was nothing more than a farce put on by those with far too much money and far too much time.
Yes, I see. And you have a problem with all manner of witchcraft. I fear I may have made an awful mistake here.
Well, I understand. You as well fiddle about these things, and that disturbs me to a great deal. But all the same, you've managed to remain... Look, I cannot deny, I fear you. I fear Irene. I fear a great many things, Sir John. But I've found that keeping them closer at hand means they are all the easier to deal with.
Yes, indeed. But I must say, I fear the term witch is... Look, this is... Good sir, this is the 19th century. We're not going to dwell on such old-fashioned superstitions.
Old-fashioned superstitions? Excuse me, dear John. I believe that I had to deal with a plant which became in some way sentient, or at least was using the voices of those deceased to speak to me. I don't know what else you call it. Magic, simply put.
Yes, but it's
And therefore the practitioners would be what? Witches and sorcerers. At least that is my understanding. And yes, it is an ancient term, but was it not in fact the ancients who taught us the proper way to deal with these things?
I do hope you're not proposing to burn the dear Lady Irene alive.
No, unfortunately, I am of the belief that there are certain practitioners, the medicine women, if you will, the alchemists who have done much to further our understanding of the nature of hand washing and so on. They have their place in this world. I mean, women like Letitia, men like the Belfonts.
Yes, and to be honest, I'm not entirely unconvinced that Belfont would have floated you through her in water, so one could argue that the ancients had many things right. Did you hear that?
It sounded like something fell over. You don't,
Can you make me a listen check, please, Maxwell?
yes. Let's see. Oh, well, I have some luck. I may as well. I believe that's 14 points, yes?
Yes. You hear a couple of things. First of all, you hear what sounds like someone essentially very noisily opening a door at the back of the house. Sort of like breaking a door open with force.
They're here, Sir John. I warned you.
Yes. We must be ready.
I'll retrieve the revolver from inside of my coat.
You can hear footsteps in the back of the house and a faint thud from somewhere downstairs, but sure, that's fine.
Yes, well. Who else is downstairs, Sir John? Your niece. Therefore, you'll have to forgive me, but you're a competent man. And they are, well...
No. Go make sure she's okay. Keep Maddie safe.
Yes, of course, Sir John. And you keep yourself safe. I
Yes.
intend to hold you to that.
I will do.
And I suppose I would head out the door and proceed down the stairs, pistol held firmly in front of me.
Okay, so we will get to Maxwell in a moment. Back in the kitchen. Maddie, you find yourself coming to consciousness. You're on the kitchen floor. It's cold and you can hear this oozing, slurping sound getting closer. You looking at you like Lady Irene seems to be holding on to like your ankles at this point. Your skirt's all bundled up, and you can hear Letitia. This is all. Sir John, maybe it's you doing this. Maybe this is all. It's you, maybe.
Letitia, calm down. Just calm down. Help me with Maddie. Oh, and
I pull my legs out of Irene's hands. What happened?
scary thing back there. You fell. I don't want to talk about it. We need to get out.
We need to stop it.
This oozing, you see, as it's still moving, sort of steadily and slowly as it sort of flows its way down the scullery corridor and into the kitchen. This flow of mud. It's fine. I've got it. I can stop it.
I am going to try to recall.
Yes. Gareth. Let bien. As Letitia starts to mutter to herself, or to the thing, you're not entirely sure.
Do I understand what she's saying?
Make me a Cthulhu Mythos roll here at this point, please.
Definitely got Dagon. I know that word.
That's a hard success.
Ooh, yes. You understand enough from your reading of Nameless cults that she is, in a sense, trying to almost adapt some of the writings you'd seen in that book, some of the rituals for commanding and binding of creatures, to command this thing to her will. It doesn't seem exactly like things you've read in the book. Like, it's definitely changing some of the wording, changing some of the phrasing, but she is attempting to exert power over the thing that's coming towards you.
Okay. I'm trying to recall anything from the book that might dismiss
I'm going
an
to say
entity.
with that, what was it? That was a hard mythos success. In that book, there was nothing specifically to dismiss an entity of this kind, but there you have read enchantments to dominate the will of another creature and to command and call upon some pretty powerful things that you're fairly sure, even from reading the book, is probably a terrible idea.
Oh, yes.
But you have read something, and you have heard Letitia speak of where she said she could command the will of other things, which it seems to be what she's attempting to do here, is mix that with
I will
command.
Did it sound like she said her name in that or anything?
Not so much.
To indicate her will?
She's invoking her will over this as, she called it a spawn of Dagon, creature of Dagon.
Okay, because I would actually
if you'd like to assist or in some way
I do want to try to find a way to assist her, because I don't know if I could, command one, and she seems to have more experience. So, of the lesser of two evils, I want to assist her in taking control of the thing.
I'm going to ask you to please give me a power roll here, and you're after a hard success as you attempt your first ever spell.
Oh, that's a fail.
Okay, so as you begin to join in, you can tell he's trying to sort of force your mind into the mindset that you require to do this, to twist your mind to go along with this, and you can tell it's not working. Now, you can choose to push on with this if you wish. To try and push on with this. However, if you fail, there will be consequences.
I understand.
And you cannot spend luck on a push roll. Letitia and the creature seem at this moment to be locked in a battle of wills. Letitia standing almost frozen in spot as she, like the knife gripped in one hand, the other hand extended towards this creature.
I'm going to push.
Ceased its movement forward, and
success.
That is a success. So with Letitia succeeding, this is enough to help as you join it in, sort of both of you chanting alongside each other. It's not enough for you to have mastered this spell, but it's enough to help in this particular instance. What I will need, however, from you is to pay the cost.
And that is?
This spell. I was just trying to... This one It's fairly innocuous. You lose 1 magic point as it drains some of your will, and only 1 point of sanity is lost. I mean, you've not got much sanity to lose, but it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse,
As
yes.
your teeth are on the edge, and it's this
Lady
moment.
Irene is just
Yeah.
looking confused at what's going on here, not knowing how to help, but she's standing with the cavalry saber ready to slice down at this thing if need be.
Well, this thing, it seems to have drawn back a little. As it sort of reconfigures it. Maddie, you feel this connection through your mind, through the confusing world that is Letitia's mind, and through this creature, and you know that between you, you are currently in control of this creature. This thing of mud and slime, and it is yours to command.
The first thing I'm going to command is for it to remove the body it just attempted to devour, consume, absorb. If there was a full body in there, I want that removed.
Okay, so this... I'm going to ask you to give me a power roll here again. Okay.
Nope, that's a fail.
The creature also fails as it tries to... It's locked in this battle of wills. And it's at this moment that Maxwell, gun drawn, you enter the kitchen. And the scene is this before your eyes. You can see Lady Irene with a cavalry saber. You can see Maddie and Letitia sort of muttering away to themselves, staring intent, hands outstretched as this creature rises and rises before them at their command. And I need a sanity roll from you, please. Oh, and it's a good job you succeeded. You only lose 1 point of sanity. How you feel about this cabal of witches is entirely up to you. Sorry, I forgot the correct collective term.
Oh, God! What has happened, Maddie? How dare you participate in this foul sorcery, and you have summoned? Good Lord, what is that thing?
It was down
Maddie-
here before.
Maddie has a look of fear on her face, a little bit. But she doesn't really respond.
At this point,
Maddie, dear, are you being held against your will?
the oozing mass of this muddy creature splits and breaks apart. And out of it tumbles this... Well, the best way to describe it is half-dissolved body. You can see, like, the
Whose
upper
body?
half...
Is it Polly or
Of
is
Polly.
it James? Oh no.
Polly the cook, as she tumbles free, and she is very clearly dead.
I start weeping quietly. Tears.
This one
What has happened to the thing?
The thing is still sort of locked in place. It's still held by the will of you and Letitia. Letitia's taking the bulk of this at the moment. You're kind of assisting her with her spell, but she is holding it mostly in place. And you can see, as she's locked in place, you see this like trickle of blood sort of from like the corner of her eyes. It starts to... Magic is taking a toll on her.
came down here to try and find Polly. We found this creature instead. I don't know what's going on here.
Nor do I, but I do intend to get to the bottom of it post-haste. I heard a crashing, as if someone breaking in through the back door. And seeing this now, I cannot abandon them. Not now. I hate to impose upon you, Miss Von Watts, but do you think it possible that you might sneak around the back and see that whoever it is that is responsible for this, and if it is not, in fact, the three of you?
I'm willing to help out in any way. You need to keep them safe. I don't know what they're doing. There was chanting involved. Something happened.
I don't know what I can do to keep them safe other than to try and move Miss Carter back. And if this thing should try to approach, well then...
Hold it much longer.
Hold what? What is she intending to hold?
I am going to try to mentally vanquish or try to banish or make it go away, and I'm hoping, because you said I can feel Mrs. Blake's mind. I am trying to help her come to that conclusion as well.
Okay. Right, a banishment here. You're trying to force this thing back out of existence. I will, in this case, require yet another power roll. Welcome to the world of power roll.
Oh, that's a fumble.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay. So, what could happen here? Let's see how. Okay. So, you, as you will, to sort of send this thing to, sort of banish this thing back into nothingness. You force, right? You feel your grip on this thing slip away. And you watch as this almost wave of filth and mud topple down towards you and Letitia. No longer under your control. What's everyone doing in this instance? You see this undulating mass, this come down towards pair of them.
Try and get them out.
Yes, I'm going to reach for Maddie and try to pull her away.
Yep.
Trying to position myself in front of her and just push her back behind, you know.
Trying to pull Maddie as well. Maddie's the one I care
Maddie,
about out of the
please
two.
give me a dodge roll with 2 bonus die. Oh my god. Do you have any luck you wish to spend in this instance, Maddie? You are muted.
I have been trying to say something this whole time.
Sorry.
That would be 52 points of luck if I were to allow that.
26?
I believe it would be 21 points of luck. Your lowest roll was the 53.
Oh.
You did have 2 bonus die on this, because it's up to you whether you want to take it or not.
Okay, yes, I will. I will allow, so you said 21?
Yes.
So that's 54 points of luck left.
Oh, plenty. As you, the two of them pull Maddie away at the very last second. Still, some of this thing, he feels it starts to get a grip on your arm and then just gets pulled away at the last instant. Letitia is not so lucky. and you watch as she disappears into this mass of mud and slime and oil slick movement.
I will let them do with whatever. If they pull me away, they pull me away. But I am racking my mind to see if I can come up with something.
This thing, it pauses for a moment, seemingly essentially to digest its latest meal, but it is no longer under your control.
I would. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Do I know of anything that might dry up this mud creature?
Well, there is one very reliable thing that dries up most things.
I start muttering the incantation to call forth the sun.
I meant fire in general, but sure.
Well, I mean, it's that or command the unknown, which is the lord of volcanoes. Heat kills and dries out the mud.
I mean, yes, sure. This is a hard power roll again to attempt to call forth the sun.
Yeah. And that's a success.
Just a plain success.
Just a plain success.
Okay. You do need a hard success to do this. You can choose to push on and attempt this. As you begin this incantation, as you begin this chant.
Oh wait, no. I can spend a luck, right? That's only 6 luck.
You can, yes, if you wish. As you reach out, as you command this chant, and the rest of you, as you hear Maddie start to chant. As she begins this chant, these dreadful words ringing in the back of your mind. They seem to almost like reverberate against your bones themselves as she begins this chant to call out to whatever lies on the other side, to the thing that the book described as the sun.
Yeah. And you said push it or
you can either spend the luck or push it.
I am going to spend the luck, and that I believe is 6 luck.
In this case, it's an ordinary roll, so that's 28 versus 45. So that'd be
and then it's 22 for the hard.
That'd be 17
right?
luck there you'll need.
Oh,
no,
17.
22 for the hard. Sorry, yes, no, 6. Sorry, I can't do maths. And it's been established at the start of this session when I couldn't work out the session title should increase. That is, you are correct. It is 6 luck. That was my mistake.
I will spend the 6 luck and get this to work.
So, as this is not an instantaneous action, this is as you begin this chant. This is ringing in the back of everyone's mind as this creature consumes Letitia. What are Irene and Maxwell doing?
What's she doing? If there's a way that I can help Maddie do whatever she's doing, I'm going to try. At this point.
Yeah, go for it. Give me a power roll. Also, please give me. I'm going to offer you a chance here to make me an intelligence roll.
So I need both. So I'll okay. Roll the power roll.
So you're joining in, but you're not really quite exerting will over this thing. But as you begin to join in this chant, you get the fear, to think in the back of your mind, that this is a terrible idea.
If I get the thought that it's bad, I'm gonna stop. and
Just,
try and pull
like
Maddie.
a second sentence as I mean, the air is sort of beginning to vibrate and hum. You know that was like when you walk underneath a power line and you can feel that strange buzzing with stickiness. Like you can feel that in the air. Maddie's words, they seem to have gotten almost an echo to them that reverberates and rings out and calls out across the dimensions to where a slumbering god lies.
Maxwell, this is bad.
You could hear the faint noises now echoing around the kitchen. This almost manic. It almost sounds like flutes or pipes echoing off across great distances.
Yes, as they have succumbed to completely darker things, I put my faith in cold, hard humanity and its science and opened fire with the pistol.
Okay, yeah. You're at close range. You've got a bonus die. Roll me some shots. What a shot. It's perhaps an older model than you're used to. Or perhaps you're just a little thrown off by whatever Maddie is attempting to do. I assume you're firing at the creature?
Yes,
Just
I
to
should
clarify
that. But I do also believe I'll spend the 6 points of luck to make sure that lands on the foul beast.
Yes, so those bullets sort of tear into this muddy mass and feels that hit solid things inside it. Perhaps the solid thing being Letitia. I did not give you the damage on this thing, did I?
No, I do not believe so.
Bear with me one moment as the chanting... The whole house is starting to tremble now. Do you see this creature, perhaps from the gunshots or perhaps from the chanting, it seems to shrink back a little.
It must be the application of cold, hard science. It surely cannot be this chanting.
I believe that will be a 1d8 for the damage of this thing. One shot doesn't seem to have done much against it. The chanting grows. A shimmering almost heat haze seems to form. You just double check how much power you're going to require to summon this thing. There's the sound, the echoing noises of manic pipes whistling. It would not be right to call it music. It's too uncoordinated, too discordant to be called music. But it's definitely sound. Sets your teeth on edge.
Lady Irene, the next chance she gets is going to be trying to cover Maddie's mouth, and if that doesn't work, she's gonna bash her on the back of the head with the butt of the cavalry saber's handle.
Okay, so Maddie, at this point you're deep in this chanting, and okay, so you're the only one currently casting this, right? So I am going to ask you to spend 1 magic point. How much of your force of will are you prepared to put into this? Because you can choose to expend as many magic points as you wish on this. More magic points means more sense of success. And should you wish, you can supplement those magic points with points of your own health, your hit points.
4 magic points.
Only 4. Okay. Roll me 1d100, please. The number to beat here is 4.
Close.
25. You've not yet successfully summoned whatever it is you're attempting to summon. And as Irene attempts to put her hand over your mouth, she seems to be trying to stop you mid-chant. Are you going to let her, or are you?
I am going to attempt to dodge it.
Okay,
Currently, my mindset is set to do what I need to do to get rid of the thing in front of us.
give me a dodge roll then, please, and a fighting roll from Lady Irene to see how this goes.
Fighting roll. Oh gosh. Let's see, do I have? Yeah, I have it.
I
Nope.
successfully dodged.
Maddie dodges out the way and continues her chant. Maxwell, your shot doesn't seem to have slowed this thing down much. Maybe it has. It definitely is shying back from something.
In the area surrounding me, would there happen to be a lantern or a lamp?
There is a fire with a poker. There is probably some candles stacked up on a shelf ready for usage. There's gas lighting down here as well.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't like any of these options. The fireplace is lit, yes?
Yes, it is.
And the creature is how far from this?
At this point, this is all taking place in the kitchen. The room itself is probably about 20 feet long and 10 feet wide. So this is all taking place in fairly close-ish proximity. It's quite a large kitchen, but near enough that this thing doesn't take long to get to you, and you won't take long to get to it.
Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the stone, the floors are made of stone, yes?
Yes, they are, yes.
In which case, I think I'd like to attempt to grab the poker and start herding the fire out of the fireplace and towards this thing.
Okay, so try and make like a line of fire.
Yes, to separate us from it.
Okay, good thinking. As you set to work on that, Lady Irene, your first attempts to stop Maddie don't seem to have worked. Maddie, I'll ask another power roll, see how your chant's going. The number to beat is still 4.
That's a hard success.
You rolled a 19.
Mm-hmm.
It's not yet beat a 4 on the percentiles, but... Lady Irene, what are you doing?
Okay, since covering the mouth didn't work, yep, bashing back of the head.
So,
I will say, if this doesn't work, I'm going to stab her.
So unless you wish to spend luck on that, Maddie, you do not successfully call forth the sun itself.
I need a what to successfully call on the
4.
sun?
You've put 4 points of magic points into this. 4 is the number to beat.
Oh, and I need to roll the percentile. Okay.
Yeah.
Rolling it. I got a 48.
Not a success. So that would be a lot of points of luck.
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, as you're currently engaged in this, Irene, I'm going to give you a bonus die as Maddie is focused on trying on her summoning, but you can still choose to try and dodge this, Maddie, if you wish.
All right.
I will try to dodge if she does anything. I successfully.
You successfully dodge.
The question is, does she actually have a hold on me too?
No, she's just trying to clobber you over the head with a rolling pin, I believe.
Oh, well then I'm running to the other side of the room.
Okay, so still chanting. Are you still chanting? Are you still keeping this up?
Oh yes, I'm still chanting.
Okay, so you back away to the other side of the room. Maxwell's making a line of fire to hold this thing at bay. Irene, Maddie's trying to run away.
going to grab and make chase. It's like, you've got to stop this. This is folly. You will doom us all.
Maxwell, this thing seems to have finally now noticed what you're doing, as Maddie is further from it, as this oozing mass writhing before you takes a lunging blow out towards you. You've got a poker in your hand. You can choose to dodge this, try and fight this, whichever you wish to do.
Seeing as the poker has been in the fire, and I'm of the inclination that most things do not enjoy that, I think I'd like to try to fight back.
Okay. Ooh, that was interesting. Yes?
Keeper, is there heat shimmers in the room?
Yes, there are.
So it's getting warmer and warmer.
It's getting warmer in here. Yes. It has slowed this thing down, definitely. It's kind of a failure on both parts here. The creature flails towards you, you flail towards it. It seems wary about pushing further into this room as this dry heat is rising in here. Like, it's starting to get uncomfortably warm. You can watch as the candles on the shelf of candles, the wax is starting to melt and drip down onto the kitchen floor. The flames of the coals that you've spread out of the fire flare up brighter. And yeah, you seem your line of fire is about complete now. You're going to block this thing off from the kitchen.
Yes, I do think any furniture in the immediate area I would be trying to add on to this. I have no confidence that the coals alone will hold this thing at bay.
Yes, I forgot it was not a rolling pin, it was a cavalry saber. But yeah, so you're holding this thing at bay. Maddie, are you still attempting your summoning? In which case,
yes, I am. I am
another...
attempting. Can I spend a little bit more power?
Yes, you can spend more magic points essentially here.
Can I spend 2 more?
Okay.
So that would be a grand total of 6, I think.
6, yes. Give me another percentile roll. Number to beat is now 6.
Ah, 74.
No, not yet. Not yet. Irene.
I need a clarification. Every time that I've had to roll a percentage roll, am I losing magic points?
No. So those 6
only
are total.
If I win.
No,
only if I succeed.
You've deducted those already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those 6 are gone. You don't lose 6 every time. It's just 6 total. So essentially, you can put as much into this as you wish to put, up until all your magic points and all your hit points.
Okay.
Your sanity cost I will only deduct upon success.
Okay.
Should you succeed in doing. And there may be additional sanity costs for whatever you have summoned. Should you succeed in this. Lady Irene, Maddie seems still to be doing her terrible, no good thing.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and stab her. I'm not trying to kill her. I'm just trying to get her to stop.
Okay. Still got the bonus die because she's still engaged in her summoning. Please give me a fighting roll, and Maddie, give me a dodge if you wish to try and avoid being...
That's a fail on my dodge.
And a success with the bonus die. That was almost...
Stab have to succeed. I'm just...
As... Please, Lady Irene, roll me 1d8 plus your damage bonus.
Okay. Hold on. Let me find that damage bonus first. Where is it? I'm sorry, I haven't stabbed anything before in this game.
Your damage bonus, I believe, might be... Hang on. It might not be anything.
I don't
In
think
fact,
it
your
is.
damage bonus is a -1. So roll me 1d8, then deduct 1.
Okay,
You
that
are
works.
not a particularly big or strong person.
Still 7. Still 7.
As the sword blade slides forwards, Maddie, I believe that is more than half your total hit points.
Yes, that would knock me down to 3 hit points.
Please give me a constitution roll here.
Hard success.
You maintain consciousness, but this is enough to kind of break you out of your incantation at the moment, as you're stabbed by a rather large cavalry saber.
I am. Where did she stab me?
I was going for somewhere that wasn't going to hurt too bad, so probably hip or leg.
Sort of through the probably a hit leg. I mean, this is quite a serious wound. I think at this point we're talking through the abdomen. Like this, you have fallen to the ground. You are in a lot of pain. There is a lot of blood. This is a major wound.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You have to stop.
There is a lot of blood.
There
Yes,
is I am going to.
Yes, am I witness to this?
Well, I presume there's some kind of sound made here, Maddie.
Yes, I stopped making sound, and I fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And I am currently trying to stop the blood flow with my hands, so I'm pressing into the wounds to stop.
A clatter of things like falling off shelves as Maddie collapses downwards. As you look around, you see Lady Irene seems to have stabbed Maddie, and the chanting is over, but there's a lot of blood.
My God, I put my faith in you here in Sir John's own home. How
To
dare
stop
you.
her. The chanting was no good.
I gave my word to Sir John I would keep her safe. Never did I think things would turn so grim as I turned to point the pistol at you.
I'm down on the floor trying to help Maddie here just as much.
Give me a first aid roll, please, here, Lady Irene, if you were trying to help Maddie here.
What are you doing now? Some foul thing to the wounds, no doubt. Get away from her.
I'm no good at healing, but no. We had to stop her chanting. She was calling for something else, something bad, something worse.
Something worse is already here. You've stabbed a dear friend.
I didn't mean to hurt her. She kept moving. I'm sorry. We need to get her out.
This moment.
I'm trying to stop my own bleeding. Do I need to roll a first aid?
I think you can definitely try.
I fail.
Yeah, no, you're not.
I'm not strong enough, but you know what I am gonna do? I have blood on my hands now, and I'm gonna start writing out the words for the chanting I was just doing with blood. I'm gonna say it as I'm doing it.
Oh, no, stop.
Yeah, no, I'm doing that. I'm picking up right where I left off.
going to start dragging her back up the stairs, back out of here. We need to get her out of here.
Let go of her now. I will see that she exits this home. You are lucky that there are other things more urgent. Go and fetch Sir John if you can. But leave that saber behind.
She isn't even going to touch the saber. She is running up to check on Sir John at this point. I
Okay.
had to stop her.
So as you back up out of the room, the creature somewhat forgotten in the scullery, temporarily trapped by this line of fire, still just oozing away in the corner. Maddie's lying on the floor, soaked in blood.
I
Right.
would like to do my best to try to staunch the bleeding. She's riding in her blood, but if I don't do anything, she'll die.
Give me a first aid, please, Maxwell, as Lady Irene, as you ascend the staircase. Things upstairs seem to have gone somewhat quiet. No, none of you are any good at first aid tonight. You need to recruit a doctor for this party. We really do. Maddie, Maddie, like, you're sort of hazily, like, you're still conscious, but you're in a lot of pain as you're trying, like...
I'm trying. I'm continuing with the chanting. I don't know if the writing is helping at all. But I'm gonna continue where I left off.
Maxwell, are you allowing her to continue at this point?
Quite frankly, I don't have a way to stop her. If I implored her, I doubt she'd listen at this point. My focus is entirely on trying to seal the wound. The cartridges for this pistol, are they completed rounds? Are they...
I am going to say yes. My knowledge of guns is highly limited. I know that this is a revolver. It is a single action one, so I think that means you just stick the...
You have to recock the hammer each time, yes. But in that case, what I'd like to do is remove one of the bullets and try to remove the lead from the front so that I can have access to the gunpowder inside, which I would like to pour into the wound, and then, expose it to fire to cauterize the wound.
I mean, yes. I'm going to give Maddie one more chance to successfully complete her summoning before a minor explosion may knock you out of the loop of it.
All right, you say 1 percentage die?
Yeah, if you're set on this, I mean...
That's a 38.
Still not a 6.
All right.
This is a kind of spell you really need friend's assistance for.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is this... I don't know really what the sound of trying to cauterize a room with gunpowder makes, but it probably feels highly unpleasant.
Oh, yes. Okay, so a big gun, it's a gunshot, whether or not there's a bullet.
I mean, it's
sudden flash of powder and a fizzling.
Flash of powder, fizzling, knocks you out of your chant for the moment, and seems to have at least slowed some of the bleeding. But
give me, dear. It was something I picked up in Egypt. The only thing I knew.
Meanwhile, Lady Irene, as you headed upstairs. It's gone quiet up here. And you can see that the door to the dining room stands ajar.
going to take a look, obviously.
As you peer inside, you can see like soup bowls seem to have been knocked to one side. The last remains of like the dinner like collapsed onto the floor. There's wine glasses tipped over, and Sir John slumped down head first at the end of the table.
I'm going to check on him, obviously, but is
See?
there anyone else in here?
No. Whoever was here has since departed. As you walk forward, you see Sir John. He's still warm. It only happened moments ago. So you tip him back. A trickle of water from the edge of his mouth. And then this movement, like under the tongue, and kind of wriggling as you watch as like a sinuous form of an eel just slithers out and drops down onto the carpet. I am going to ask for a little sanity roll there, I think. I think it's only fair.
It's very fair. Very fair.
Lady Irene is always surprisingly fine with many things. Yes, that is a critical success on sanity. Like, at this point, what do you expect? You left him alone, the Belfonts came up, and now he's coughing up eels. I mean, well, not coughing up, because he is very much definitely dead.
I got no other choice but to try and find another weapon and come back down to inform the others that Wallace is passed because of Augusta's machinations.
Okay, there's no obvious weapons. I mean, there's pokers, there's broken wine bottles, possibly a carving knife intended for a later course of the meal.
I'll go for a poker. A poker's right. But definitely as she heads down, it's very much, Maxwell, I'm coming back down.
Hearing this, just for my own clarity, is Miss Carter still conscious at the moment?
I'm going to ask for another con roll from Maddie, actually, at this point. Given the pain of this cauterization, she's still conscious.
I've stopped muttering. My tongue's not working anymore. I think I'm clouded a little bit by the pain.
Is it at all possible for you to make it out of the house, dear? If not, then I have no choice other than to leave you in the hands of Miss Von Watts again, and I fear what she may have planned. But I know now what I must do, and well, it's something that you best not be here for, dear.
I'm going to try to get up.
Right. With assistance, you could probably make it to your feet. You're a little rather unsteady on your feet at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, is Mr. Porter going to assist her getting up?
I would assist you up, certainly. But I cannot leave at the moment, so beyond helping you up, I might give you a chair to use to steady yourself.
Okay, I will lean against the chair. I won't go anywhere, though. I want to watch what's happening. I don't really say anything. My tongue feels heavy in my mouth.
Miss Carter, I urge you, please. You must go. Maddie, I'm going to blow out the gas lamps and let the gas fill this room. When it reaches that fire,
You shouldn't do that.
this thing will escape and it will consume others. Cannot risk that. You know this.
Keeper, how close am I to the fire?
You'd backed up away from the scullery. I know you said that. The fire and the stove is on the same wall as the scullery, so you're probably on the far side of the kitchen from it, near the door that leads into the corridor.
I want to catch up. I want to catch up some oil, if it's there on the counter next to me, and I want to pour it at the mud monster.
Okay, it's probably probably find some lard used for cooking around here.
And then if I can walk over to the fire, limp, crawl, whatever, however I get there, I am going to catch up a log out of the fireplace and throw it on top of the oil or fat that I threw at the log, the mud monster.
Okay, I think I'm going to ask here for a throw roll for starters.
And that is a fail.
Okay, that is a 23 versus a 20, so you can spend luck.
I'm gonna spend the 3.
Okay, so as Maddie's kind of staggering her way forwards and doing this, what are Irene and Maxwell doing?
We need to go. We need to get out of here.
That is precisely my intent. Where is Sir John?
Sir John's dead. Augusta got to him.
Very well. Miss Carter cannot stay.
We need to do something about this. You stopped me from doing what I was able to try. At least help me set fire to it.
I stopped you from nothing, and I've asked you to leave so that I can do precisely that. Now.
We do not want the whole estate to burn, just the one space. Setting
This
fire
estate is
to a
filled.
gas.
This estate is filled with objects of unspeakable horror. Do you intend to be the safekeeper of every single one? It's shown already that we cannot keep these things at bay. Who knows what your chanting may in fact have drawn the attention to this home. I did not try to stop you, it was Irene.
I did. It was terrible.
So,
She was going to doom us all.
the line of fire is beginning to sizzle out at this point. You know you've not got long before this creature is no longer held back.
I am going to go and pick up the log that missed where I was aiming and throw it. I'm obviously now closer, so I'm going to pick it up and throw it at the
Okay,
log I sent.
I am going to give you a bonus die on this throw for being close to it. However, if you fail at this, there may be dangerous consequences.
Oh, that's a fail.
So, you watch as Maddie, like,
Significant
flaming
fail.
log in hand, like, staggers up to this creature. And as she sort of goes to hurl this log forwards, it kind of catches from her, and you watch as the flaming log catches on her skirts, and as the fire starts to catch on the fabric, creature is now on fire. You can hear the mud starts to dry. This creature starts to almost scream and squeal as the fire takes it. Unfortunately, though, Maddie is also on fire. As the flame catches, you've got this briefest instance to do something, all of you, Maddie included.
Try and
Yes.
Like one.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Oh no, I definitely think Irene is going to try and pull Maddie back and try and get the fire out on.
Yes. As she's pulling her back and trying to beat the fire out, I'd like to try to seize up the saber so that I can cut off the skirts and discard anything that's burning.
Okay, I'm going to ask for... I think I'm going to make this hard dexterity for just the speed of this thing, but I'm going to ask for it combined, so both of you make it.
So just a dexterity roll?
Just a straight dex. So Maxwell is a little slow, grabbing the saber, trying to cut the skirts, but Irene is quick enough. Drag back Maddie to put out the fires.
I think in the process of trying to stomp out the fire, Lady Irene's lifted her skirts up, and now you can kind of see the burn scar. That's the burn marks on her legs.
And as the three of you stagger back away from the burning remains of this shrieking creature in the corner of the kitchen, and this acrid black smoke fills the space, coughing and spluttering as you stumble back outwards to the safety of the corridor.
Open some windows. If I'm near a window, I'm leaning against the wall.
You're in the basement, so there's the little short on the windows. But you stagger your way back to safety. You are, well, actually, in Maddie's case, severely wounded. The rest of you, just very shaken. This has been possibly the worst dinner party you've ever been to, and that beats multiple previous dreadful dinner parties and evening events that you have attended. At this point, you know that your host upstairs is dead. Your guest is dead. The cook is dead. No
sign of James.
No sign of James. What becomes of him, or what became of him, you're not entirely sure at this point. But I think as the smoke billows through the kitchen, and as our three investigators stand in the corridor, I think I'm going to have to ask you what your next action would be. Like, what now?
Just the scullery is on fire.
Just the kitchen. Moment? Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a well-contained fire. It is a fire, but it's not burning madly out of control. And the way the house is designed is that it is in the most fire-safe room of the house. It is in the kitchen that is, like, designed to be a chance where fires might have caught. But as smoke billows out through, like, the vents of the kitchen, you suspect that a fire engine may soon be on its way, especially if someone shouts and calls attention to this situation.
Miss Carter, we must evacuate. I know that it may not be your preference. We cannot stay here at the moment.
No, we can't.
Fine. I wish I knew where James was.
Yes. With any luck, he'll be awaiting us at the carriage, as he so often has in the past.
Let's hope.
Miss Carter, if you do not have another place to stay this evening, I
Miss
would open my
Carter!
home to
Miss
you.
Carter! Lady Irene!
Woo!
Oh, thank goodness. It's bursting through the corridor from the back of the house. It's a very frazzled looking James. There's a thing in the scullery, and I went upstairs, and Sir John's dead, and oh my god, what's going on?
There is a thing in the scullery. The scullery's on fire.
Oh my god. Polly, I don't know where
James.
Polly is.
Yeah, James,
Polly.
I understand, but outside. We will have this discussion outside
Oh
where the
my-
flames are not.
Miss Carter, are you okay? Someone stabbed you.
It's my fault.
Please, Miss Carter,
never mind. Let's just
let me help you. We must
go.
get you upstairs and call a doctor and the police.
Yes.
Sir John is dead. And the fires. We must fire. Doctor. Police. This is awful.
Tonight has been awful. I think I might need a rest from the city for a while.
Perhaps that is best for all of us.
I agree.
I don't know what happens now. Sir John's dead. I don't know what. What do we do?
James, for now, we must proceed with order. If we allow ourselves to be consumed by madness in this moment, then we will lose everything. For now, with your assistance, we will bring Miss Carter out, and perhaps you will drive the carriage to the nearest hospital with her, and I will make sure that the arrangements are made with the officers and with the fire brigade.
Yes, carriage, hospital, carriage, hospital. Right. Let's go upstairs. This way. Follow me. I think someone broke in through the back door. I don't know what's going on.
I believe you're right. I heard a disturbance there myself. But as I said, these are for matters that belong outside and not inside at the moment, please.
Yes, that's this way. And he helps Maddie out the back of the house into the bracing cold night air towards the carriage. You can see now, like, the vents up from the kitchen, the billowing black smoke coming upwards. But so you head off to seek urgent medical attention as Maxwell gets in contact to call the police. The fire service is not the Coast Guard in this case, but practically every other existing emergency service. We know that, well, things are about to take an interesting turn. But I feel it's an interesting turn that shall have to wait until next season, where we will find out how Maddie will recover what just happened, how Maxwell will cope with his continued association with an increasing number of witches, what Lady Irene will do now that, well, she is currently, at this moment, the only one of you who knows what is in Sir John's will. What will happen when that will is read remains to be seen. But I think we do know that there's interesting times ahead for this this band of investigators and perhaps some new associates of theirs as we close out this second chapter, but in some ways this first chapter, as Sir John, the man that brought you together, is no more, and as one of his old enemies is no more, and of that trio of sorcerers only Belfont remains.